In this video I'm going to make overview of Java Collections Framework. I want you to understand general structure of Java Collections Framework before we start going deeper in the details. And here's our agenda for today. We'll talk about what GCF includes. In this lesson you are going to learn the difference between collections and arrays. We are going to discuss what advantages collections have over the arrays. Also during the lesson we are going briefly to talk about two separate hierarchies in Java Collections Framework. That is hierarchy of collections and hierarchy of maps, and what are the difference between them. I believe this is going to help you significantly to understand the course structure and the next lessons in general. So, let's start. And to start with, let's answer the question, what does GCF, I will shorten Java Collections Framework if you don't mind, what does it consist of? GCF is a unified name for the group of the types and algorithms that are developed to store elements in them and perform manipulations on the group of the objects. GCF includes next things. Collection interfaces. These are abstract data types that describe the type that may group multiple elements in the single unit. As a software engineers, we are going to use collections all the time to perform operations with the group of objects. For example, product list in our web application. This might be a collection of products in the language of Java. And we could perform operations on the group of the products. For example, sort products or filter them to keep only products that has price more than $10, or split all the group of products on the equal chunks to show products page by page, and a lot of other things. Can you understand now why we might need collections? You may think, isn't that the same what we have arrays for? Taking into account you used arrays already, you might think that for the same purposes you would use arrays. A bit later, when we would talk about advantages of collections over arrays, you would understand why arrays and collections are two different things. Implementations of collection interfaces. Even despite the fact that abstractions for collections look the same, the implementations of this interface are different and fits for different goals. For example, some collections work the best for adding new elements at the end of the collection, and developers like that collections because of the constant time of retrieving elements from them. Other collections work better when you need to add elements in the middle or at the beginning of the collection. Other collections work the best in the concurrent environment. We are going to learn all these collections and to understand the difference when to use each collection type. Map interfaces. Map interfaces are different from collections in one important thing. Map is a container that contains pairs of key and value. For example, you may store the name of the product category, for example doors, and collections of all doors associated with it. You may have boots category, and collection of boots associated with that key. And in case you need to get all doors, you just make a request to the map, passing only key to it, to retrieve all doors. Does it make sense? Maps are also considered a part of Java Collections Framework because even if they don't have the same interface as collections, they have operations that allow us to view and interact with them the same way as with collections. Implementation of map interfaces. During the course we are going to discuss different implementations of the map, and we are going to understand when we will use each implementation of the map interface. Deprecated collections. Deprecated collections are also part of the Java Collections Framework. Despite the fact that it is recommended not to use specific collections, sometimes on the Java project you're still going to work with them. Because even nowadays there are a lot of old projects written on Java that require support and maintenance. Synchronized collections. There are also a special set of collections that are developed to be used in a multi-threading environment. Let me tell you the example to make you understand. Imagine that you have collections of users, and one administrator of the website removes the user from the collection, and another administrator of the website is iterating over each user in the same collection to update the state of the total orders amount. The conflict might appear when two administrators in the two separate threads of execution would update the same collection. In this course I am going to tell you how synchronized collections work and how to use them. Algorithms. Also, GCF includes algorithms. They are the methods that perform useful computations such as searching and sorting on objects that implement collection interfaces. The algorithms are said to be polymorphic. That is, the same method can be used on many different implementations of the appropriate collection interface. Wrappers. GCF contains a special wrappers that can turn your regular collection into non-modifiable collection, or wrapper that can turn your regular collection into synchronized collection that you can use in multi-threading environment. Now, when you know what Java Collection Framework consists of, let's discuss what advantages does it have over arrays. Let's go over this table to compare collections and arrays. This table will help you to understand what advantage collections have over arrays. First of all, you already know that arrays in Java have fixed size. Collections in Java can be extended dynamically. So, using collections, there is no need to create a new collection and copy the state of the previous collection into the new one when you run out of space in this old collection. This is a significant benefit for the development process. Secondly, arrays itself don't have any behavior and algorithms to work with them. For example, arrays can't filter themselves, or find the first index of appearance of element, or keep all elements sorted automatically, or have only unique elements and do not add elements that already exist in collection, and a lot of other things. If you remember arrays class, you may say that some of the algorithms are present in arrays class to work with arrays, but the amount of operations that you can do with arrays class is significantly lower than the number of algorithms that Java Collections Framework has. And moreover, we mentioned separate class and static methods in arrays class. That is not the same as behavior of the object like we have in collections. Thirdly, collections have single API, and no matter what is the specifics of each particular implementation of the collection, whether it stores only unique elements or supports reading of elements during the constant amount of time, it doesn't matter. All collections have common API, what significantly simplifies usage of collections and learning them. On the other hand, working with arrays, each developer may implement his own application programming interface to interact with array. For example, developer may come up with a method to add new element in array and extend it in case there is no more place in the array. Or developer may come up with a specific algorithm how to clear all elements in array. One developer will just create a new array with the default array size, another developer would just turn into null values all current elements in array. And you already may see the problem in such approach. There is no single API when you are working with arrays. By having such data structures and algorithms as collections, developers may concentrate on the important parts of the program rather than on the low-level work and inventing the wheel. Fourthly, what you need to remember, collections can store only reference types of data. Collections doesn't work with primitive types of data. If you want to store primitive types of data, because of the performance reasons, you still have to use arrays. And last but not the least, performance. Usually it is considered that performance of arrays is higher than performance of collections. While this can be true, in the modern world, in the most of business cases, we are talking about milliseconds difference for standard operations and for standard number of elements in either collection or array. But you have to know about this. I believe now you have the vision of what we are going to learn and what Java Collections Framework is. As you can see, there are really a lot of things to learn. Right now, let's recap what we have learned today. In this lesson, we learned what Java Collections Framework contains. On the high level, we understand what collections are and how they are different from maps. During the lesson, we reviewed main advantages of collections over arrays and also discussed what advantages arrays have over collections. That's all for now. Thanks a lot for your attention and see you in the next lesson.